What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Week 10 recap of the National Football League. Before I get started, I want to just go ahead and say salute to service for all the veterans out there. Me, personally, I definitely appreciate what you guys do for the country. I know people have different viewpoints on it, but at the end of the day, you guys are the military, and you're just doing what's ordered from the head people, whether it's right or wrong, whichever way you guys view it. I definitely support our fellow, men and women that go out there and provide the services that help to do what they're told to do. Not necessarily for the proper reasons in most cases, but at the end of the day, what you guys do is very, very commendable. So happy Veterans Day to all, and if you guys can go out there and show any kind of support to a veteran, definitely do so. And that's all love from GmiasWorld. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this Week 10 NFL recap. We're going to go ahead and start off right with the Cleveland Browns at Cincinnati Bengals 24-3. And like I said, it's the same old story. You know what I'm saying, guys? I call it how I see it. Marvin Lewis should be fired, and then, he should be tied to the back of a pickup truck. Listen, I don't know. I'm just thinking bad thoughts, because when I think about the fans, and then I think about corporate America, and the way that they put people in positions that make no sense. Because if you're paying someone to win, and they only lose, and you give them chance after chance to get the job done, and it's not happening, you should do what's in the best interest of the fan, who are the people that make these people get those enormous paychecks. That's what, you can give somebody a chance. It's not about not giving them a chance. That's not what this is about. The situation is very, very simple. We have to understand something. Marvin Lewis, if he's made it to the playoffs, has always been sent home. Marvin Lewis, as a coach of the team, has always come up short. Please understand that it's not something to where I'm saying, it's a sometimes maybe situation. It's not a sometimes maybe. Who's that girl singing? Call me maybe. Was it something Ralph something? Call me. Is that a maybe? I don't know what the song was. I don't know what I'm doing. But this is an always regular thing. You can bank on the fact that Marvin Lewis is going to lose the game when it counts, or if they're supposed to win. This is embarrassing. Cleveland, they came out, they played well, that's fine. But Cincinnati, with that defense and the way that they can play, it doesn't make any sense for why this man is still the coach there. All jokes aside, it's horrible now. And because they're not taking action on him as a head coach, the fans of the Bengals has to start going after the people that own the team and the people that regulate what goes on. Because that's the way it goes. It's a hierarchy. If you're going to allow this head coach to shit on the team and to ruin everyone's hopes and dreams, and everybody, you can look at the stands, they're always sad. After the first quarter, Bengals fans are always sad. They're always sad. Why is that? It doesn't make any sense that this should be allowed to continue to go on when this man looks like he needs to go clean his asshole out. He's walking around, his asshole's itching. He just looks like a clown. Like, you cannot, it doesn't matter. Black, white, Spanish, blue, red, Roger from American Dad, whoever wants to be a coach, you have to be a coach. You have to be a leader of men. He is not. Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns for seeing a punk bitch and regulating on him. But other than that, it's like when you play the Bengals, it doesn't matter how good they are. You look at Marvin Lewis's face and you just have no respect for him. Now, I understand that they have that gentleman that has a daughter with cancer, and that's a very sensitive situation. And she came out and stuff like that. And pediatric cancer is such a horrible thing. And me having had experience with it and seen the kids and understand, I've been to several fundraisers, I've done a lot of things with that, blood drives, organized it. I understand it, and my heart goes out to those children that have to battle something without even experiencing life itself. That's a very delicate situation to me in my heart as a man. But just because you do good actions, that doesn't mean that you should be able to get a pass at being horrible at what your job is. You know what I'm saying? We could all be generous and do things like that, but if you're not the guy, you're just not the guy. Marvin Lewis is not the guy. That's my point. Congratulations, Browns fans. Bengals, Marvin Lewis has to go. Next game, Tennessee at Baltimore. Baltimore 21, Tennessee 7. The Titans gave these guys a run for their money to start. And the Mengelberger, some kind of burger, that quarterback for the Titans, he was decent. He showed some lights. He showed that he has some oomph. I liked what I was seeing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what anybody says about a team being garbage, shit like that. I'm gonna call teams garbage, because they are in most cases. But when I see things that I like, I acknowledge it. Whether you're my enemy, my friend, whatever like that, I have no problem. That's just part of being a man. You acknowledge when somebody has a talent. That guy has talent. That QB, whatever his name is, like I said, it's something with a burger on it. I don't know what it is. So I actually thought they were gonna beat Baltimore, but as you see, we had a couple good passes from Flacco. Guys were in the end zone hanging out, and it was 21-7 at the end of the day. But I like to see, new talent, fresh air, guys, because guys take advantage of the fact that they're elite, and we have to have people that are continuously upgrading what they do to overstep that boundary and get to the next level. And I like that quarterback is showing something. Locker is a bum. We all knew that. I never thought that he would make it in this league. I like the burger guy, and that's what I'm gonna call him, the burger guy, because I don't really know his name. I'm not really interested in knowing his name because he hasn't really done anything yet. But I liked what I saw. Listen, I love what I saw, and I'm very happy about the fact that at least they're trying to do something different. You understand what I'm saying? You don't stay with Locker, a bum burger bitch, because you think that he's the guy. You understand what I'm saying? You have to go elsewhere because that is what's necessary. So out of everything Tennessee losing, nobody expected Tennessee to win this game. But what do I get as a spectator? I liked what I saw. And I think that he can build upon that and be successful. I'm not saying he's going to be the next fucking John Elway. I'm saying that he can be enough to spark some kind of offensive change and to do different things for the team. That's all I'm saying. I have to be objective. I have to look at things for the way they are. I cannot be biased in my commentary. I give you everything from the heart. And I liked what I saw from that gentleman there. As far as Baltimore goes, I was very pissed off about the way they started off defensively. They gave the Titans a lot of chances to make plays. It didn't go according to plan, but it is what it is. Defensively, you got to bring your game every week. Okay, you gave up 7 and it looks good, but I watched the game. Tennessee had a lot of chances to make some noise. It didn't work out that way, drop balls, etc. But the Ravens have to make sure that they're on their toes. Trust me, because I really don't see them upsetting anyone in the playoffs. That's just my vision right now. So we'll get back to that as the weeks go by. Next game, Kansas City at Buffalo. Sammy Watkins is impressive. Is that Orton at quarterback? I really love the fact that they have Orton in there and that the other dickhead that was there, the other rookie guy well, he's not a rookie anymore. This is his second year, but he's always injured or he's always throwing a pick. Can't remember his name right now. I really don't give a fuck. He's the black guy, so that everybody recognizes what's going on. Everybody always knows who the black quarterbacks are. So few of them. But he had to go sit his ass down, and that's what needed to be done. I like what they're doing in Buffalo. I like that, Kansas City came in there with a high-powered offense. Let me tell you something about Jamal Charles, though. That motherfucker, listen, when you see a man run past other men that are ahead of them, I haven't seen runs like that for a while. Barry Sanders, maybe, Adrian Peterson, like when you just run, your acceleration is so extreme. Jamal Charles is something to be reckoned with, man. Unbelievable. It was a hard-fought victory. They fought it out, last-minute type stuff, but offensive teams are going to sometimes have those niches, and they have to get through it. And that's what they did. So I have no knock there as far as that goes. Buffalo, I'm not mad at Buffalo. They played a hell of a game. They had ample opportunity to win this game. It just didn't work out that way. That's fine. But you have to come to play every week. That's all I'm saying. You have to come every week. You got to bring your A game every week. That is all. That's the biggest thing about this that people have to understand. You got to come with your A game every fucking week. That is it. When you do that, it's a whole different ballgame. And that's what people have to understand. So as far as that goes, I love the way Kansas City was able to pull it out, but I also love the way that Buffalo played. Because Kansas City does have a decent defense as well. Them boys ain't no slouches. So you have to look at it from that aspect when you compare it. It was a very, very good, exciting game to watch as I was flipping through all of them. I actually liked what was going on in there, and I actually caught Jamal Charles' run when I actually flipped through watching the game. So definitely kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs for pulling it out. Buffalo deserves some credit as well. Miami 16, Detroit 20 at Detroit. Let me just say something about Brent Grimes. That pick that you got that one-handed shit on Calvin Johnson, unfucking believable. But let's get realistic right now. You're a little motherfucker playing against Goliath. If Matthew Stafford had a little bit more accuracy, you'd have got aired out like a dirty gym sock. You're too small. I understand your jumping is like 1,000. But you're not fucking around with a guy that doesn't need to jump to overpower and do anything that he wants to you. I'm sorry. That pick though, easily at this point in the season, pick of the year. No doubt. Reggie Bush looked really, really good to start the game. Then he got a little banged up with his ankle. I was actually tweeting about this game. I love Reggie Bush, even post-Kardashian. Great stuff. Matthew Stafford has a lot of work to do as far as accuracy. That's his biggest thing. You know, a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, even a Drew Brees would do work with a Calvin Johnson. Even a Kaepernick. Most of his receivers are really, really slow. Stafford really has to work on that, man, because if Detroit is to make noise, when you have a guy like Calvin Johnson, a guy that's an inch taller than Randy Moss, you know, Randy Moss is one, I think he's one of the most electrifying players and the most impactful players in NFL history, in my opinion, for what he did on the field and the attention that he brought. Calvin Johnson is similar to that, but he's just bigger. And if you have a guy that can get the ball to him in the proper vicinity, that team can go all the way. Just look at a Michael Irvin. What was he, 6'2"? When Troy Aikman used to get the ball to him, it wasn't always about, you know, this guy had the best arm. It was accuracy. He got the ball to him, and Michael Irvin made plays. That's a very serious situation that quarterbacks have to understand. You have to get the ball to the receiver. Whether it's deep, short, whatever. You have to make that happen. And that's my problem with Stafford when it comes to that. Yeah, has he been maturing and going to other people now and not always going to, Calvin Johnson? Yeah, I agree with that. But has he matured to the level to make the Lions successful? I don't think so. The Dolphins, they played a hell of a game. But the X factor of this game was Calvin Johnson. You cannot leave Brent Grimes, a fucking legal midget in the NFL rankings against Calvin Johnson, on Calvin Johnson. It's fucking Megatron. He has mega. You ever went someplace and you heard mega and it wasn't big? Like, you can't put a little motherfucker on something that's mega, else you're going to get this outcome. This is what's going to happen. So they have to fix it. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't really much to talk about with this game because Calvin Johnson being an X factor, as long as I knew that they were going to continue putting Brent Grimes one-on-one on him, I knew that the Lions would somehow pull it out. And that last second throw by Matthew Stafford, I'm not saying that he's not a good QB. I'm just saying as far as when he's going to Calvin, he has to be better. That side swipe pass for that touchdown at the end, unbelievable. Listen, I can't say nothing bad about it. Unfucking believable. But as far as Calvin Johnson goes, when you have an elite receiver like that, you have to do better as far as getting him the ball. That's my only qualm with him. I wish him nothing but the best. The Dolphins, however, Tannehill and the way that he has been running the ball, doing stuff like that, the Detroit Lions have a fucking monstrous defensive line. It's a monstrous and ferocious defensive line, which means that you can't do the same bullshit that you do to other people. And people sleep on the defensive line of the Lions. And I'm going to tell you something. That boy Sue, the other fat guy next to him, I forgot his name, the guy that slimmed up a little bit, I forgot his name. They got a lot of guys, even though that middle linebacker Tulloch injured his ACL or something, fucking doing a dance and a celebration like a dickhead. That defense is dangerous. And as long as Ndamukong Suh's not stomping people in their face with his cleats, they have a chance to come together and to gel and be a very formidable defense. I'm going to tell you that right now. So be very, very wary of that. You know, the Dolphins tried to come along with their game plan. You know, Tannehill was on a high. Everything was going on like that. It's all about matchups. And I believe Calvin Johnson was the X factor in this game. Dallas 31, Jacksonville 17. Okay. At first, I wasn't, the game was, what was this? This game was in London, I believe. I wasn't happy about Tony Romo with the two bones broken in his back, taking the trip for a game like this against the Jaguars. But then I started to think about Brandon Weeden, and I threw up in my mouth a little bit, and I understood why they brought Tony Romo. Let me just say that I understand he just played the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I also understand pain in your back. And you have to give this man some credit for being able to play through it. Movement with your lower back when it's injured is a very serious thing. And like I say, like I said before, I don't know if you guys are aware, if you guys are new to my commentaries, I wrestled in high school and college, and I always do deadlifts, and I make sure that I get it in because the lower back is so sensitive. And when you injure any part of your back, anything around your spinal cord, anything that has to do with just your back, the vertebra, anything like that, the vertebrae, it becomes very difficult for movement. And people have to understand that Tony Romo may be a guy that is turnover prone. He may be a guy that's going to always just fuck you over. But you can't question his toughness. And that's coming from an athlete. You can't question the man's toughness. He played very, very well this game, granted against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But it was good to see him move around like that and to understand that between Dallas and the Eagles, I still take the Eagles coming out of the NFC East. But Dallas is definitely a formidable opponent. As far as Jacksonville goes, they started the game off pretty well. I actually tweeted out that they were going to try to beat the Dallas Cowboys was trying to lose to the Jaguars because the way the game started off. So I give them a lot of credit for the way they started. But the Jacksonville Jaguars have a lot of work to do. And I think Blake Bortles can be somebody to be reckoned with, but I also do think that he needs consistent play from his other, the O-line, the receivers, the running backs. I think the defense has to be completely revamped. Maybe if the 49ers get rid of, Jim Harbaugh, maybe he could end up there and do some magic there, because it's still hot weather, 49ers, whatever, just on the other side of the globe, on the map. But I just think that they need to be revamped, the Jaguars. And right now, you can't really expect much for them. They're playing for pride, and that's commendable that they're not just laying down and they're still playing hard all the way throughout. But this wasn't a game that anybody thought would go any other way, to be honest with you. Once you knew Tony Romo was starting, you knew he was going to make plays against teams that weren't too good. And he deserves kudos for playing through that back injury, in my opinion. 49ers at New Orleans. 49ers 27, New Orleans 24. Let me just say that pass interference penalty against Jimmy Graham was total bullshit. The game should have been won on a Hail Mary, and that should have been the end of the game. And I'm going to tell you why. When you're a little bitch motherfucking corner, and there's a guy that's a 6'7" monster, you have to understand. I know you don't got to push your hands out in the rule and all that shit like that, but you have to understand that he's a small little motherfucker. And for my tall guys, when you're doing something against a smaller individual, sometimes your elbows may hit them, sometimes things happen. They have to allow these guys to make moves, to make plays. They have to allow that. That has to happen. In my opinion, I wouldn't have called that as a ref. I'd have let it go. For the simple fact of the way that he flopped, that wasn't something that would cause that kind of movement. If he moved in after that and didn't flop, and you could see that it was some kind of discrepancy, that's different. But I wouldn't have done the same thing. That was a little over the top with the way that he flopped, in my opinion. But that being said, I have to make it be known simply because that's what I do. The refs got to get their head out their ass with these kind of calls because these guys are big receivers and you can't have midgets, well, little people. I don't mean to be offensive to midgets. Little people. These guys are small guys going up against big men. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to give some kind of leeway to the way that you allow them to go for the ball because he's going up to get the ball. He's surrounded by 49ers. Surrounded. It's a natural reaction to move somebody next to you to go for the ball. You're not just going to jump up because you don't know what those guys are going to do. So you got to protect yourself before you actually take the launch. I understand that. And I don't think that the push warranted something like that. Something like a pass interference to determine the game. You know what I'm saying? I also do think that the 49ers earned the game at the same right by the way they played. So I don't want to take that away from them either. As far as the game goes, I like the way Kaepernick is playing. I like that. Drew Brees, he's making one or two throws a game that shows that he still has a little bit in him, but I don't like what I see from Drew Brees. And I'm just saying based on the old Drew Brees, and I understand that we all age with time and whatever like that, but I don't like what I'm seeing from Drew Brees. His decision making, the throws, accuracy, I don't like what I'm seeing from him. I know I got Saints fan that's going to bash me. I understand that, but I'm just being objective and letting you know what I see from him. He's not the same on point, about to throw a dot quarterback anymore. Kaepernick, however, has a cannon arm, and this guy is He can make something out. You saw that 4th down play when he found Crabtree. Like, he's special. As long as he takes those nigga lines out of his hair, I would support him again. You know what I'm saying? That's my honest opinion about it. But other than that, this game was very, very exciting. Very, very electrifying, the plays that were made at the end, however. Because when Crabtree dropped the ball prior to him catching it on 4th down, when your name is Crabtree, you can't really fuck up that much. You know what I'm saying? When your name is Crabtree, like, you gotta only have people saying positive things about you when your name is Crabtree. So somebody need to tell that man that he needs to cut the bullshit. But it was very, very good to see them come back and win that game. Absolutely and positively a great win. Pittsburgh at New York Jets. Oh my god. My fucking goodness. Pittsburgh 13, New York Jets 20. Yes, that's correct. The Jets won a game. Pittsburgh, look, in fantasy, I put their defense in just because of the simple fact they were playing the Jets. But it's just my luck that'll be the game that they give up 20 points to the Jets. And Big Ben Roethlisberger would play like a pure, unadulterated pussy hole. It would be just my luck, my fellow brothers and sisters, that the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers would play down to their opponent like they always do. Michael Vick had a decent game. It's not really much, the Jets defense played very, very well. Great. I have to be honest about that. They played extremely well. Should they have beaten the Steelers? Absolutely not. Are you fucking serious, Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers? You're a team that I have said in the past can possibly make noise in the playoffs, and you lose to the lonely-ass Jets. I can't take anything from this game other than the fact that on any given Sunday, anything can happen. I'm not going to go through highlights because there weren't many. Except for that one throw that Vic made across the middle where the guy caught it and ran it in for 6. Vic looks young, but he's also an asshole from his comments about him not being prepared earlier in the season when he had his shot. So I'm not really going to go now and, oh yeah, Vic. No, he has to do a lot more to show that his preparation is on point. And a fluke win against the Steelers doesn't mean anything to me. So that's pretty much where I'm going with the game. I understand that some bum teams are going to beat, good teams during the season, but the Steelers cannot make this happen at this point in the season. It can't happen. Very, very disappointed. On to the shit bowl between the Falcons and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Atlanta 27, Tampa Bay 17. Mike Evans is all I take from this game from the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's an unbelievable rookie, man. He has so much talent. He's so big. He's so aggressive off the line. He has a bitch QB. I just can't. As far as the Atlanta Falcons, Matty iced my ass, bro. You got the win. That guy is a bum. The Bucks suck. Lovie Smith should be fired and sent back to Chicago to fucking wait tables. That is all. This was a shit bowl. I hated watching the game when I flipped through it. I hated everything about it. I have nothing positive to say about it. A shit bowl. Denver at Oakland. Denver 41, Oakland 17. Before you guys bash Oakland, I want to say something about the Raiders. They came out like a ball of fire in this game. And if they would have played more competitively, this game wouldn't have ended the way it did. But Peyton Manning got, his legs under him. He started to feel it out, and the rest is history. He didn't start off too well. They had it going. They could have made plays. They have some work to do with Carr. They got some things they got to deal with. But as far as just overall with the game, I'm not impressed with Denver beating Oakland like this. Especially after the ass win they just took by the Patriots. It was something they had to do. As far as Oakland is concerned, I like that Carr is not scared to throw the ball. I like the fact that they can develop something to go forward with. The interim head coach, the ex-Dolphins coach, what the fuck is his name? He just has a stupid fat face. I don't know who he is. I forgot his name. I know his name. Not to say I don't know who he is, but you guys know, Raider fans, you know who I'm talking about. I just can't keep all these coaches' names in my head. But I was very concerned when they fired the original coach, the guy that looked like he never got a piece of pussy in his life, Dennis Allen. I was very, very concerned that they wouldn't put the gentleman in at interim coach that is there now because he's useless. He's like a used pad for a female. It's useless. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're going to use it for hunting to bring the livestock out. But the whole Oakland Raiders thing is just a whole joke right now. And it's very, very unfortunate the way that it's going. And again, the fans deserve better. because they pay the money, they deserve better, and things should be done to make it so that you're at least trying. I don't see that with the Raiders, man. I just don't. St. Louis Rams at Arizona Cardinals. I understand. Let me just preface my statements I'm going to say about this game by saying, I don't wish injury on anyone, even my enemies, because I want them to live to see what they have, what they have made me become, or what they have created. But Carson Palmer, can he play the game of football? Yes. Is he the guy that you want at your quarterback position when it counts? No. That's just being honest. I understand that he may have a non-play injury with the ACL. I understand it, and I wish him a very speedy recovery if that is the case. If it's already been documented, I don't give a shit. I don't follow up on Carson Palmer. All I know is that he has a girl knee ligament in from before. But I'm gonna tell you this right now, guys. Carson Palmer, he's not the guy that's gonna take Arizona to the promised land. He's not a Kurt Warner. He's not. So I think going forward, the Cardinals will still continue to be successful because they have a very good defense and they have a QB replacement that's going to get the job done. And I'm saying that because I've seen this gentleman play. So I wouldn't, a lot of guys saying, throw in the towel, all this shit. Carson Palmer's not that kind of value. So throwing in the towel and all that shit, that's crazy talk. And in the words of Patrick, any SpongeBob fans, that's crazy talk. Arizona will continue to be successful in this league. You can mark my words on that. And it's not anything against Carson Palmer. I just don't think, nor did I ever think he was the guy. St. Louis, Jeff Fisher's the coach there. What did he do in Tennessee? 1 Super Bowl appearance and 1 yard short, and that's it. And he's like a great regular season coach, and that's it. Pretty much other than that, I don't know what to say about the guy. That's it. Jeff Fisher, Rams. Okay, Bradford is injured. Doesn't really matter. They would have still lost. New York Giants at Seattle Seahawks. I told you guys when Seattle went on their little losing streak that they would start to rebound. I also told you that Eli Manning needs to go sit the fuck down someplace and just be happy that he's the luckiest quarterback to ever play the quarterback position in the National Football League. He's showing that every day. Seattle doesn't have the same defensive line. They don't have the same guys in position that they used to have, and they have to do a little bit more gelling, which they're doing right now, which is why it's good to lose the close games that they have lost in the beginning and early part of the season, because everybody attacks a Super Bowl champion like that. So that's to be expected. That being said, there is no excuse for what the New York Giants are doing right now. I understand Victor Cruz is injured. I still understand that you have a 2-time Super Bowl champion at quarterback that is not playing up to par, that still continues to make bad throws, that still looks like a shaven pussy. That's just my opinion. Russell Wilson looks as fast as ever. He's playing very, very smart. That's the biggest thing that you get from Russell Wilson. He makes up for his height with intelligence. And when you think that you think that the read option is a college thing, he makes you understand that it can work in the NFL. He runs it better than Kaepernick, better than Cam Newton, better than everybody. Russell Wilson does. Be very, very careful about Seattle repeating, because I really like Seattle. I really like Seattle to repeat. I've said that from the beginning. I like it. They had losses? Yes. I like them to repeat. I really do. The Giants, they're pretty much done for the season. They need to revamp the whole team and make some decisions on how they're going to go forward. Pretty much what they need to be doing right now. That's pretty much all I got from the game. They have some good receivers that I see, some good young and upcoming receivers that I was very happy for to see them catching the ball and shit like that. But the Giants are not the team that anybody thought they would be, and they're not going anywhere near the playoffs this season. Chicago at Green Bay, aka the Fuck Fest. Green Bay 55, Chicago 14. Mark Trestman, he looked like a guy that got all the dignity and confidence sucked out of him by one of those sleepwalker characters in that Stephen King movie. He showed no life, no energy, no no fortitude, no passion about getting your ass whipped. He just sat there, and when look, I understand that some coaches don't need to show that type of ferociousness, and anger on the sidelines. But for all my coaches that have won a Super Bowl, you've seen it in them. This guy is a timid pussy hole, Mark Trestman. Lovie Smith is also an asshole. So I'm not saying that Lovie Smith being there would have done any better. Absolutely, positively not. What I'm saying is maybe Mark Trestman is not the guy for the job. That's all I'm saying. You can get your ass whipped, but you gotta act like you give a fuck. That's all I'm saying. Even acting. If you act like you give a fuck, I can give you a pass. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got people do it every day. People fake how they feel every day. If you act like you give a fuck, you could probably get a pass. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. That motherfucker Mark Trestman, he looked like a kid that, you know, you took his candy away and the kid just knew that you were bigger than him and he just let you ride. Complete embarrassment to the organization. I couldn't look that head coach in the face and take him seriously whatever he says. Are you fucking serious? And then on the other side, you got a coach that looked like he'll go over there and slap the shit out of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know if he was scared of Mike McCarthy. I don't know what was going on, but Mike McCarthy looked like he'll go over there and slap a motherfucker. So, the whole situation was just bad from the get-go for the Bears. Did they get ass raped with multiple dildos and a fucking chain? Yes, they did. Absolutely. Positively. Yes, they did. Do I blame the head coach? Yes. 100% I blame Mark Trestman for not showing any type of energy, no type of fucking nothing. He just looked like a total baby back bitch. By the way, I started Aaron Rodgers in my league in fantasy, which is why I'm so excited about doing that. Just to let you guys know that. Bears, complete embarrassment to themselves and their families and the National Football League. The final game, Monday night, last night, Carolina at Philadelphia Eagles. Carolina 21, Philadelphia 45. Let me just tell you guys that I am so fucking happy for Mark Sanchez. And I was one of the guys that kept on telling people, listen, I'm from New York. I'm a fucking New Yorker. New York and sports, in Major League sports, do not go together. Other than the Yankees, which have been shitty, you know, since they won their last World Series, New York is not a team that you don't want to come to New York. Other than for the limelight and the fucking, you know, walking around in Manhattan and doing dumb shit, which I've been completely tired of. I've been here my whole life. There's nothing else here. You're going to lose as a major league player to whatever you do. Because Mark Sanchez is playing like a fucking maniac. And it's only, and I said this in the preseason, and I remember people saying on one of my videos in the preseason, oh yeah, it's just the preseason. I'm a very good judge of character because of how I grew up and how I study men and understand their movements, because I had to survive in not too good of an area. So you study movements. His aura, Mark Sanchez's body language, everything about him is different. He wants to prove people wrong. He wants to show his teammates that he cares. His teammates want to see him succeed. When you have that combination, it's very few things that can stop you. Chip Kelly, he went from being a bitch for not going for it on fourth down to showing us that he still has some balls. He's a guy that you can see shows emotion and is very excited to communicate with his players. This was a vicious ass whipping, sparked by Sproles. Which most of their wins have been sparked by Sproles making a crazy play. So congratulations to Mark Sanchez. I'm not even going to go into anything else about it. It was a complete ass whipping. The Panthers. The O-line didn't block. The defense didn't play defense. With the MVP of defense from last year, he was the only guy playing defense. Cam Newton sucks. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've been saying it for a while. Does he suck because of the game plan? Yeah, they're not utilizing him the right way, which I've been saying for years. Would he be successful in a Chip Kelly offense? Yeah. Does Ron Rivera need to not be a head coach similar to Rex Ryan and just be D coordinators? Yeah, I would vote yes to that. But for some reason, nothing will change. Cam Newton will continue to stink up the joint, look like an erected dick in the pocket, not move, act like he's not mobile, act like he wants to be a fucking thrower, and just suck. I watched this game up until the third quarter. And what I can positively tell you without any hesitation is that Cam Newton is not the quarterback for this team. Not while the offensive coordinator is trying to make him something that he's not. He's not a pocket passer. Guys need to utilize what they have. And I understand that the great John Gruden says that, you know, you need to be in the pocket. The mobile quarterbacks can't do shit, whatever like that. Tell that to Steve Young. Tell that to Garcia. Tell that to Joe Montana. Were they pocket passes that could beat you in the pocket and throw? Yeah, but they were mobile. They were mobile. Cunningham. Moon. They were mobile. And they could also throw the ball. This guy seems like he does. Cam Newton doesn't look like he wants to be a great quarterback in this league, but just his body language and the way that he looks, and he just looks like a total dick. I just don't look. I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's the guy. You guys can bash me. You can say whatever you want. I don't think he's the guy. I think he needs to redo his whole persona and understand that you're a mobile quarterback. You're a guy that runs, and the offensive coordinators need to make sure that he's able to utilize what he has as an athlete. Until they do that, it's like beating a dead horse. I keep on saying that. Until they adjust what they're doing, the Panthers will not be successful. They won't be. You don't got no Steve Smith no more as a blanket to throw the ball to. Now it's on you. You got to make reads. You got to throw the ball. You have to make the position of quarterback as a Panther successful. And you, sir, Cam Newton, are not that guy. In my opinion, with that scheme and everything that's going on in the dumbass head coach, you're not the guy. You need to go hang out with Chip Kelly. And I can see you being a success. Because you have all the tools, your mind isn't there. And I can see it in your eyes and your emotions when you were sacked because your O-line sucked and all that shit like that. I can see it. Remember when Michael Vick was in Atlanta? He had no O-line either. But he made plays because he wanted to win. He also wanted to kill dogs, as we now have discovered. But he wanted to win. I don't see that in Cam Newton. And until I do see it, he's a lost cause. I hope you guys enjoyed my Week 10 recap. Once again, salute to service. Go out and say hi to a veteran. Show your appreciation for this great country of America, even though we're in a slump. We will definitely rebound and come back to be better than ever. I'll see you guys next week. Happy Veterans Day from GmiasWorld. Until next time, it's always one love.